The world has spoken. Avengers Endgame is shattering box office records around the world.
Whatever it takes.
Avengers Endgame, rated PG-13.
What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Endgame, aka Avengers Endgame. So the movie has been out for a while now. It's already made over 1.2 billion. But the question no one is asking is, how much did it cost them to make the movie? Rumoredly, it cost them $800 million to make it and $260 million to market it. So have they really made any money yet? Probably not sure. But it is interesting how much it would cost them to make it. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. But more importantly, we are giving away a Hasbro Infinity Gauntlet at the end of this month. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel and let me know down below all your thoughts about this video. And also, when and if we hit 100,000 subscribers, we've just hit 70,000, which is amazing. So with 30,000 subscribers away, we will be giving away a PS4 or an Xbox One X or a PS5 or the new Xbox. It depends how long it takes the channel to grow another 30,000 subscribers. So all you gotta do is keep commenting and keep subscribing to the channel and let me know that you are supporting down below. So in today's video, it's a bit of a controversial video. Why? Because the Russo bros have been talking again about debunking or explaining the massive plot holes in Avengers Endgame. Now, obviously, every movie is going to have plot holes. Careful for spoilers if you're not seeing the movie yet, but why would you be in my videos if you haven't actually watched the movie yet? So with every time traveling TV show, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Back to the Future, Star Trek, there is always plot holes. But Endgame has a lot of plot holes, which is interesting. So we're going to go over the Russo brothers' explanations for said plot holes. And what is more interesting is they have the Do Not Ruin the Endgame campaign. Okay, cool. But on Monday, you're allowed to talk spoilers. The Russo brothers are allowing you to talk spoilers. Yet 2 days after the movie, Marvel released a trailer thanking the fans for smashing it at the box office whilst releasing images of Hulk's new look and obviously Thor's new look. And then yesterday, they released another new TV spot that reveals Captain America gets his shield off Tony Stark and also reveals Thor's look, Viking beard look. So it is kind of double standards, I think. But realistically, yes, it's the Russo Bros movie, but it's Marvel Studios. Realistically, everyone's already talking about spoilers. But in my opinion, if you didn't watch the movie in the first week, you are not a true fan, are you? So, all your ideas down below, guys. So we're going to go over these plot leaks, which I find are very interesting because let's just go over them. So, in the movie, there was two versions of Nebula. There was the current version in the current day, and then there was the 2014 one. So, before Nebula can use the last pin particle in order to return to the present day, she is captured by the 2014 version of Nebula, who makes the trip instead of her. She then, of course, brings Thanos and his entire army to the present day via the Continuum, which leaves audience confused as how they didn't have enough pin particles to do this. So to me, guys, this is the biggest plot hole ever. And to be fair, the Russo's explanation isn't very good in my opinion. But Warstu, you didn't work on the movie. I know I didn't work on the movie, but I'm someone with an audience. I'm someone with an opinion and someone with a voice. So let's go over their explanation and I'll break down why I think it's not very strong. I think it's a cop-out at best. So in an interview with Chinese language website QQ, the Russo brothers were asked, how did Thanos bring his army to the future? This is a very weak explanation. There is a guy called Moore in his army. Obviously, he's referring to Ebony Moore. We've seen a lot of him in Infinity War. You know, the guy who's never failed Thanos. Oh, wait, he didn't get the Time Stone. And Spider-Man literally made him go outside the spaceship and then he was essentially dead. So he has failed Thanos before, but technically this version of him is the 2014 version. So he hasn't failed him. Yet he couldn't break a spell that was stopping him getting the Time Stone. So yeah, genius. He was a great wizard. I love how he said he was a great wizard. Thanos himself was a brilliant genius as well. Those two easily reverse engineered a mass production of pin particles. Okay, guys, let's break this down. Okay, so pin particles, pin technology is a very advanced technology. if you don't read comics, like a lot of people that watch MCU movies do not read comics. I know, it's hard to say, but it's true. So Thanos in the comics is a beast. He is a genius. Very, very clever guy. I'm not disputing that. But to say Ebony Maw and Thanos could reverse engineer the Pym particles to a mass production where they could bring the Sanctuary 2, they could bring the children of Thanos, they could bring the Jachari, they could bring the Outriders, they could bring everyone, and they can mass produce this in the space of 5 minutes in a movie. I personally, and I've been speaking to a lot of other creators, and I've been speaking to a lot of fans and people I know in real life and stuff. Yeah, this is a cop-out explanation. To me, this tells me they have no idea how this happened, and this is really a cop-out of an answer. But let me know, guys, are they really that clever that they could re-engineer the Pym particle technology that fast? In the space of less than 5 minutes in the movie. It is fascinating, but I do actually respect the Russo brothers for wanting to explain what was going on for fans, but then at the same time they're explaining things before their spoiler ban, which is ridiculous because the review embargo is lifted 2 days before the movie came out. So realistically, if you wanted to talk spoilers, you could, but it would just be not a very cool thing to do for people who haven't seen the movie. Let's be honest, it's the second weekend this weekend, so I can see why they say, okay guys, you can actually talk spoilers online. It's not like they're going to remove your Twitter account or anything if you post spoilers, but it's not a cool thing to do. So it is very interesting. So they also spoke about the Steve Rogers Captain America debacle ending. So, in a recent interview with EW, Endgame directors Joe and Anthony Russo confirm that Steve did indeed go back and create and live in a different reality, separate from our main timeline, and that the team behind the film deliberately set this up to generate a whole slew of questions. So that is interesting. They purposely made a plot hole so the audience would talk about the movie after the movie. That is pretty clever. But guys, let me know what you actually think about their explanation. Let's go over it. If Cap were to go back into the past and live there, he would create a branched reality. The question then becomes, how is he back in this reality to give the shield away? Joe Russo asked with a smile. Interesting question, right? Maybe there's a story there. There's a lot of layers built into this movie, and we spent 3 years thinking through it. So it's fun to talk about it and hopefully fill in the holes for people so they understand what we're thinking. See, it's pretty cool that they do explain what their thought process was when they were actually making the movie. But at the end of the day, it's like a branch reality is a cop-out reality, in my opinion. It does feel like maybe they're teasing a future Marvel movie. The Russos go on to reveal that Bucky Barnes did know more than he was letting on when he bid farewell to Steve before all this went down, becoming about as emotional as a character gets. Even though his best friend was only supposed to be gone for a few seconds, especially when he says goodbye, explained Joe. He says, "I'll miss you." Clearly, he knows more, but that was apparent. I mean, I've seen it a bunch of times now, and it was pretty apparent. For me, this is a cop-out of an explanation, a branched reality. I mean, Marvel future is going to be like multiverse, is going to be like movies set about the past. We do know the Black Widow movie is going to be coming, and that rumoredly is going to be centric around the Y2K bug, and the villain is going to be Taskmaster. So even though Black Widow has perished, she's still going to feature in a movie, which most people have wanted since Iron Man 2, because she is a badass Russian spy assassin. So it is very interesting. They also went on to say the following. When Steve Rogers did return, it wasn't a random stand-in character. It was actually Chris Evans playing the scene all along, whilst using CGI and a whole bunch of elderly makeup prosthetics, which adds the emotional attachment to the character, and that was pretty cool. So essentially their explanation for what happened was there was a new dimension temporarily forged, which could open up the universe to the MCU multiverse travel, which is something similar that happens in DC, happens on Crisis on Infinite Earth all the time, the multiverse in the Flash TV show. So generally most people would be able to explain that. I just feel like it was a bit of a cop-out going branched reality. So the next one they went over is the famous Spider-Man Far From Home And obviously, in Endgame, there is a 5-year time jump to technically be 2023. So in the final scenes of Endgame, everyone was expecting a post-credit scene that would set up Phase 4. Well, this is where you guys are wrong, because Phase 4 does not start till after Spider-Man Far From Home, which is the latter half of the MCU Phase 3, according to head of MCU Studios, Kevin Feige himself. So if there is going to be some kind of crazy setup, it's going to happen in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man Far From Home, which comes out the first week of July. So in Endgame, the final montage, we see Peter Parker return to his New York City High School, where he's warmly greeted with his best friend Ned for the first time since the decimation, since when Thanos decimated the world. You can tell from this scene the two have been through a lot. They really have been through a lot, and they're returning to high school at the same time, surrounded by their fellow students in an attempt to strike a semi-normal existence after everything that's just happened, because to be honest, the age they are in this film, it will affect them massively. So, Ned disappeared as well, according to Joe Russo, who told Entertainment Weekly. That's the two of them seeing each other for the first time after they disappeared. Obviously, we don't know where Ned disappeared, because obviously Spider-Man was in Titan, he was in the fight with the Mad Titan, and obviously the last time we see Ned was when he caused the disturbance on the bus, you know, in the scene where Stan Lee was in Infinity War. So it is interesting. So that clears up why Ned and Peter still both look the same age, and look at the amazement on Ned's face when they meet. He's still getting used to the information about the 5 years that has passed, because if you remember, when Spider-Man comes out, he tells Tony, I just went to sleep and then I woke up and then Doctor Strange said it's time to go. But what does this mean for the future of Spider-Man Far From Home? Realistically, what they said, it doesn't really mean a lot. But it's unclear whether the fellow supporting cast, you know, like MJ or Flash, etc., were decimated. But if you were to go from the Spider-Man Far From Home first trailer, we are getting the second trailer by Detective Pikachu, which comes out next weekend, so a week's time. We will know exactly, and that is why it's been delayed, because apparently there is massive spoilers. So realistically, to pull this off, if it is set in the concurrent same timeline, then they would have had to be dusted as well in order for it to make some kind of continuity, because if they weren't dusted, then technically they would have graduated by now, because there is a 5-year time jump. In the same interview, Joe Russo confirmed that some of Peter's classmates have definitely aged out of high school, but that doesn't mean the important ones did. After all, Clint Barton was the only surviving member of his own family for 5 years, while the decimation was entirely random, so Peter's closest friends could have all gone with him, while plenty of them could have stayed at high school. I mean, yeah, probably it's going to be some kind of cop-out explanation of why most of Spider-Man's friends are still there. You just got to think of it this way. Apparently, the finger snap was supposed to be completely random, yet the 6 original Avengers were never dusted. And then when Tony Stark did the finger snap, all the villains were erased. Interesting. And is the decimation really random? Because when Bruce Banner, aka Hulk, aka Professor Hulk, did the finger snap, he said he tried his hardest to bring Black Widow back, aka Natasha, but he couldn't do it. So I don't really buy this, oh, it's random, because why would he do that? Why would the 6 original Avengers all stay around while the other ones weren't? Made no sense. I mean, Captain Marvel wasn't snapped away either, so it doesn't make any sense. We didn't see any scrolls. So I don't really think the logistics, the plot holes have been debunked here. But it is interesting to see what the Russo bros had to say. So guys, let me know down below. Do you believe the Russos? Do you think their explanations are good enough? But I do understand and I do appreciate that they're trying to explain things. Obviously, they can't go into so great detail, because we know they're not going to be involved with Marvel unless they get their own way and they can direct Secret Wars. So we know they know nothing about the future of Marvel. They just know what's happening up to this concurrent timeline. I presume they've been told nothing about Far From Home except for details, minor details that they needed to know. So guys, I just wanted to go over these in one video to make it easier for you guys. So like always, if you could like the video, share it with all your friends. That would be awesome. Would help the video grow and help us on the quest to 100,000 subscribers. That would be awesome. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.